Avengers Endgame is finally out. We saw it. We cried. We laughed. We loved. We got sad. And we're going to talk about it this week on episode 23 of Did We Just Become Best Friends podcast.
Okay, name your favorite dinosaur. Velociraptor.
All right. If you were a chick, who's the one guy you would sleep with?
John Stamos.
What? Did we just become best friends?
What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 23 of Did We Just Become Best Friends podcast, where we talk about sports, video games, movies, and whatever else is trending in the world. You can find us on all social media platforms at Did We Just Become Best Friends podcast or DWJBBF podcast. You can call or text us at 872-225-2404. And if you leave a good enough message, you might hear yourself on a future episode. We always appreciate kind reviews on Apple Podcasts, subscriptions, and reviews and comments on YouTube and Twitch, all that good stuff. Don't forget to hit those bell notifications so you don't miss any new episodes. So my name is Anthony, and I am with the undusted Alfredo.
Undusted.
From the snapping. So we're gonna talk about Infinity War, Avengers. Not Infinity War, Endgame,
yeah,
which is the new one that just came out. So I figured we'll do the first half, no spoilers. So we'll do about 30 minutes or so, no spoilers, and then maybe the second 30 minutes, all out.
Right.
Hopefully, if we can last that long.
Yeah, exactly. I was about to say.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. First of all, I mean, I think we want to just jump into spoilers, but we're not going to do that.
Yeah,
I want to just jump into spoilers, or we can't do that.
We need to have the people who haven't watched it at least watch part of our show.
Well, here's the thing: they released Thursday night. It's now been out for a little bit over 24 hours. If you haven't watched it now, then
Nah. Because I mean, there's a bunch of people that I know, like other YouTubers and like other like influencers I see on Instagram and stuff. They're like I'm not seeing it until like Tuesday or Wednesday, So like I think a good like time frame of like you should have seen it by now is definitely I don't know, 2 weeks. I think in 2 weeks is like if you didn't see it, you're probably not gonna see it.
Right.
2 weeks is a good enough buffer time. Because there's still people that get upset, like, "Oh, you ruined Infinity War." They came out a year ago, man. Like, oh, that's on you, man. That's not on me.
Ah, jeez. Okay, I mean, I'll give it the 2 weeks. I just, despite the fact because they decided, hey, you know what? I heard this cool thing. Everybody's watching all those movies in order, and so MCU timeline order, I guess. So let me just go ahead and we'll get to it. Endgame in a couple of weeks, but
yeah, I mean, we'll.
It's nuts. I mean, we were finishing up Infinity War on the way to the theater this morning at 9 a.m.
Were you?
Nice. She was driving and I had my phone out and we were watching Netflix on there. So
that's awesome.
It was good. It was very, very good.
Yeah, obviously we're gonna try to keep it spoiler free. I think it is worth watching almost all the other previous movies. Because they do a lot of callbacks, which is awesome. They do a lot of some. There's a review I watched today, and they said it's part of the movie is like the MCU greatest hits, which I'm like it was because they go they discuss a lot of the things that happened in previous movies that are important for what they are doing in this one. So it's like you need to watch like Avengers 1, obviously Avengers 2 was big, Captain America's movies, Iron Man movies, Guardians movies, like all those movies were pretty important to it all, well, so
I agree. I mean for the people who see, I don't want to say this, but I'm going to. If you think it's going to be a great movie, just multiply it by 3. Because I think it's very, very good.
By 3,000?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So if you think that but you're already overhyped, you're gonna say, "Oh, it wasn't that bad," or "It wasn't that good," or what have you. But I'll let you know that it blew my mind. I was really excited with Infinity War when that came out. I was like, "Holy cow!" Edge of my seat kind of thing.
Yeah.
And this actually took the cake. This actually it's the same, but more excitement,
I think
more
more
thrilling.
emotional. I think
It was hugely emotional.
yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Because in the last one, Infinity War, because this is legit part number 2. This is a sequel to Infinity War.
right.
So in the first one, I feel like you gained a lot of connections with certain characters, even if you never watched any other of the Avenger movies. You kind of understand like the dynamic between Spider-Man and Iron Man from Infinity War alone. Especially at the end when Spider-Man's like, "Oh, I don't feel good," and he gets dusted. It's like,
Oh, you spoil it, man.
yeah, yeah. I'm sorry, I spoiled the movie that that
That
came
came
out.
out like a year ago.
Yeah, but no, I mean that's like stuff like that you already know. So it's like you get that emotional attachment just in that movie, and this one definitely builds on top of all of those emotions.
Yeah.
For a lot of it, it was really interesting. One thing I thought it was gonna be was how like the life without the people, but it's more of like the life of the people who survived, like how they have to like it's like it's their story, it's not the
Right.
story of the people who got dusted, which I thought was pretty interesting.
Right. So I mean, like before leading up to this movie, I was afraid. I didn't want to spoil it for myself. I didn't want to watch any of the trailers leading up to it in the past month.
Yeah.
Those of you who are the same like myself that do not want to see the trailers, I say go ahead and watch it because it does. After watching the movie, it doesn't release or
No.
reveal much at all,
No.
and a lot of it, which is true, now I could positively confirm it. A lot of the scenes happens within the first 15-20 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
if you want to see the trailers before you actually see the movie, and if you want to watch the MCU timeline the way I did, um, go ahead and watch the trailers. Hype yourself up, watch it. Get ready for it. Then when you hit the theater, you're gonna be like, okay, it was well worth it. You know, um, if you have a strong bladder, not a problem. If you have a weak bladder, just
I,
empty it
yeah, I don't know
during the
about you,
previews.
but me and Erica, we both use the washroom like I think within 5 minutes of the movie starting. Was like, all
Mm-hmm,
right, we're gonna it's starting in 5 minutes. I ran to the washroom really quick, and then she ran to the washroom really quick.
mm-hmm,
We had food and water because we went to iPick. So we
mm-hmm.
had food and water, and so we like ate. But it was just like it wasn't that bad. I thought it was gonna be like, oh, although I did wait until the end. I'm just gonna give this out to everyone. There's nothing at the end. I should have texted you to not
Yeah,
waste your time, and I completely
yeah,
forgot. I was kind of disappointed. Like I was like, oh, there's nothing really. There's no mid credit, you know. And there was something they did with all the actors with their signatures and stuff like that, little silhouette of them. That was kind of
yeah.
cool, but it wasn't like, oh, I need to see it. And there was nothing really at the end, besides
Mm-mm.
the Marvel logo came on, and then you hear the dings from like a hammer hitting iron, like from Iron Man 1 when he's in the cave. And that was it. It didn't like,
That's where it all began.
yeah, yeah, but there was no post credit scene. There was not much,
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I've heard and I definitely agree with was this was definitely an end. It was an end to a storyline,
Yeah,
like a 23, 24 movie, however long, how many movies this is. It was a bookend. It was like, here's the end of their story, of this story. I was like, yes, it was good, and it was so hard, especially in comic books. There's never an end, because they need
right.
to do monthly. So with something like this to actually have an ending, and a good, I feel like perfect ending for
They couldn't
what
have
they did.
scripted even better.
Yeah,
I mean, I the way they did it was art. Now
Yeah.
that's art. That's not that's tire running over dog shit. That was art because the way they did it was commemorative. I want to say.
Oh
I'm not
yeah,
going to
I think
say
so.
much more what was said and who said it, but it was nice. It was really nice, and I I'm I don't know, man. I want to see it again, and I can't wait to see it again. There's so much more I want to talk about, but we're not there yet.
There's
But
there's
other than that, it, I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I appreciate it. It was the end. There's a lot of rumors that people were saying like, oh, it's gonna introduce mutants. Like, no, it's not. Like the movie was already done. You know, by the time they were able to even say the word mutants in the MCU. You know, so I it like people were like, I'm like, no, like they're not. He's not gonna do it. Like he said, this is the end. You know, this is like an ending. You know, before like it all kind of starts up again.
Right,
Although he said is like because Spider-Man comes out in a few months, and that picks up
right.
directly after this movie.
Hmm.
Um, which I think people already know because the trailer's already out for that movie, so they're really not spoiling anything for anybody at this point. Because I feel like people know how this movie's gonna end. Like I think we talked about it last week. We know how it's gonna end. We just don't know how it's gonna get there. You know, and
Right,
man, it got there. Well, that journey was awesome. Um, But yeah, but Spider Man is supposed to be like a little bonus of the story kind of thing. So I was like, okay, you know. So I appreciate that. It's like the story's over, but it's like kind of like a PS at the end is gonna be the Spider Man
P.S. I
movie.
love you.
Yeah, like yeah, PS Nick Fury.
Oh man.
You know,
Yeah,
so
I mean, I'm really interested. I'm looking forward to the Spider-Man because I really do enjoy what's his name, Tom Holland,
oh yeah.
and he does a phenomenal job in this. Um, in the mutuals, the feelings the same between the two. But however, I don't want to. I'm really curious how it's gonna pick up and take off from there, and how how's gonna who's next. Remember end of Homecoming, there was that one dude with the tattoo on his neck,
Oh,
Scorpion, I
Scorpion.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where would he come from? How would he come from? I don't know. Maybe they'll expose more of that.
Well, the main bad guy in this one is gonna be Mysterio, which is what's his name? Jake Gyllenhaal. He's gonna be the main bad guy.
Okay.
So, but it looks like in the trailer, like he's gonna he's a trickster kind of guy, holograms and smoke and deception type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he has a big fishbowl on his head, which they show it in the trailer, which is awesome because
That's
it's
funny.
so over the top, like stupid, and they actually did it, and I was like, wow, cool.
Mysterio. He
Yeah,
sounds
Mysterio.
like a Batman villain.
Yeah, yeah. It might pretty close because I mean they all kind of have similar powers, you know, just slight differences. But yeah, they're looking like he might pretend to be a good guy to work with Nick Fury and Spider Man. You know, to get like, oh, I'm an Avenger too. Look, I can beat these big bad guys. But then like he creates the big bad guys that he can control and later defeat. So like that's what they're saying the story might be.
That sounds like Incredibles.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't think about
I
it.
mean, I don't
With
know anything about it, but the way you just explain it,
yeah,
it does sounds like I can't remember the character's name, but it's Incredibles.
yeah, the kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. It's pretty much that's what it's gonna be, I think. But with Spider Man and stuff like that, which you know, I mean, that's what they're saying, but we'll see. But yeah, but so that's gonna be a little cherry on top of everything, supposedly. So it's gonna answer a few of the questions I think that people might have at the end of Endgame. I keep wanting to call it Infinity War, but the
Everybody
original,
does.
yeah, the
I
original,
do it.
yeah, the original title was Infinity War Part 1 and Part 2. that was the original title, and then the Russo brothers changed it. So they called it Infinity War, and then the second one they were like, "Oh, it's gonna be two completely different movies." Blah blah blah. No, it wasn't. Like the Russo brothers lied so much. Like,
Well,
not I wouldn't say
yeah,
like, but they
you
protected
want to
their baby.
cover, right?
Yeah,
Exactly. You want to protect it.
yeah,
You want to keep everybody on their toes.
yeah.
That's why there was a scene. There's a bunch of scenes a couple scenes that didn't come out and appear in the movie, which we'll discuss later.
Oh yeah,
There was a lot of CGI movement, and it was pretty cool.
yeah. Which I like that. It's like, don't ruin the movie by the trailer. You know, like they adjusted the trailer, even have, like you said, scenes that weren't even in the movie in the trailer, just to
Hmm.
throw people off. And I was like, I appreciate that. You know, like I do. You know, like, 'cause there's other movies. I can't think of any on top of my head, but it's like, if you've seen the trailer, you've seen the movie. You know, and I was like, why am I gonna spend $15? You know, it's like I've seen all the good parts in the trailer already.
Yeah, this is nothing like that.
Yeah.
This is absolutely nothing. There were so many twists and turns. I didn't know what the hell was going on. I felt like pausing the movie in the theater just for me to gather all the information.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy. It's nuts. It's amazing. It's just like how when you text me, you're like, dude, it's wow.
Yeah. I didn't want to spoil it. But yeah, so I was like, I gotta talk to somebody. And I
Hmm.
knew my friend Gabe, who we talked earlier, he was going around getting all the McDonald's toys because they were Avengers.
Hmm.
And I know he saw it like at 5 o'clock or something like that. He saw it like early, like the special fan event that he like paid extra for. And like I text you, I'm like, I don't want to say, I can't say anything to Fredo. So I text him, and we were like chit chatting for like a good like half an hour back and forth. He's like, "Oh man," he goes, "Thank God you saw it. I've been trying to like hold my tongue for a while, because it's like as soon as you see it, you want to tell somebody, you want to talk to somebody about it, because you're like, I can't wait."
Did I hit you up immediately when I was done? I think I did actually.
You texted me. I don't know today where you're like, dude, that was epic. I was like, yeah, that was insane. But
Mm,
it's definitely one of those movies where like when me and Erica on our ride home, we were already dissecting it. We're just like it was you walk out of the movie like feeling good. You know, where like The Last Jedi, I walked out and I'm like, I feel icky. Like it didn't feel I'm serious. I'm not even joking. I'm like, it didn't feel right. It doesn't sit well in your stomach, you know? Like Infinity War, you walked out in Infinity War, like you're like, damn, that was a good movie, but I hate Thanos, you know? Like you were just like, it was so good and it made me so angry, but you know, and then like The Last Jedi for like instance, I walked out and I was like, oh, I don't feel right. Like something's wrong with me inside after seeing this movie.
the
You know?
force is weak with this one.
Yeah. You know, so
But
this one I walked out and I was like, oh man, this chills, and just like it was so good. It was just like you walked out of it like completely satisfied, you know,
yeah,
as a fan.
I text you approximately 5 minutes after the movie was done. And that was probably after the end credits and walking out of the theater.
Yeah, I apologize. I should have texted you like, don't waste your time, because there is nothing. Because I seen it online that people were saying like, oh, there's nothing, there's nothing. I'm like, yeah, I don't believe you, fuckers.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, but
Exactly.
now I mean, I knew. I'm like, oh, I should have
Yeah.
told Fredo.
No,
Ain't
it's
nothing
fine.
more.
You know, I
Give me 10
didn't want to
minutes.
become that one commercial. If it's on the net, everything's real on the internet or everything's true on the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'll take my chances. You know. Oh, jeez.
But yeah, I mean, well, at that point, like as the credits are rolling, I'm like, okay, I gotta pee. I'm like, I gotta pee. So I'm like sitting there. I'm
Yes.
like, come on, come on. And then when nothing happened, I'm like, damn it,
Okay, so
run to the
I'll
washroom.
tell you this right now. I did not go pee until the word San Francisco came out. So when San Francisco came out, there really wasn't nothing. You know, there really wasn't much. I
Trying to think of what.
no, and I'm sorry, not San Francisco. It was New Jersey. So when I saw Jersey, I'm like, All right. I left, I came back, and there were some parts, and I asked Stress, I'm like, what did I miss? She goes, not much. And then she filled me in real quick. I'm like, oh, okay, it's nothing. So
Was that the
don't say it.
no? But I mean, that wasn't part of the trailer, right?
No, no, no,
Was
it
that
wasn't.
that wasn't the with Captain America
That was the Captain America Iron Man.
and Iron Man?
Yeah,
I don't remember that. I gotta maybe once tell me
yeah.
because they did that a lot. You know, like tell you like different cities they were in. They were mostly in like it's just a handful, but there
Hmm.
were a few parts. Um, Mainly the part that you see it in the trailer where what's his name Ant-Man is like looking at the pole at the post and there's all the missing people on it.
Hmm.
That kind of dragged out and I was like, okay, can we speed this up? I want to get to the good stuff already.
That was San Francisco.
Was it okay?
Yes,
that
that's
was
one of
that
the
was
parts you could go pee or go to the washroom. I should
because
say.
yeah, that
Excuse yourself.
was, I mean, it didn't last, don't get me wrong, it didn't last forever. It was maybe what, 10 minutes max, if that, 7 minutes.
Yeah, it wasn't that long.
I
It's
was
just a
like,
little
yeah,
fill in.
yeah. I'm like, you could have just cut, to the important part of that scene, and I'm like, and then added more stuff to other parts, like one in particular that we're gonna talk about in a few minutes. That I was like, they they didn't touch on enough. I felt like
Mm-hmm.
so there was a few things where like I was um like I'm like, oh, they should have done this, they should have done this, they should have done this, but it didn't like it wasn't like horrible. But I just wish like I would have saw more of certain things. That was
Yeah,
my thing, It's not like they just didn't completely forget about it. It's like I wish they would have elaborated a little bit more and
right.
cut wandering Ant Man, cut that down, and then add to the important stuff. But like I said, that wasn't too bad.
No, I mean, I liked it.
Oh, dude,
I
I loved it.
I'm willing to go watch it again.
So which one was better, Infinity War or Endgame?
Mm. Honestly, they both each have goods and bads, but I think Endgame. It's not by a small margin, but it's a winner. I
Yeah,
have to say it's a clear winner in my book
yeah.
because that I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say much. I just want to say it's worth the 3 hours. It's worth your money. It's worth to watch it in IMAX.
Yeah, which
Um,
I'm gonna go see.
yeah, so do I. I think that it is a clear cut winner. It's better now, and yeah, dude.
Yeah, it for me it blew Infinity War out of the water. I was just like, man, like it just was so good. It was so good. Like I know this is not spoilery. Um the climax of the movie was very I know I was telling you before, it was very comic booky, I'm like, me as a comic book fan, like I loved it. I was like, because it's so much of how like a comic book would go down, when it's one of those big, like events. Like right now,
Hmm.
Marvel's doing another big event that's changing the Marvel universe, in the comic books. Um, so whenever they do something like that, it's always like this crazy stuff, and it happens, and it's just it's a lot happening at once, And it was just like I'm sitting back, I was like, man, this is like reading a comic book. It's like flipping the page and seeing all the panels, and it was just like, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah,
I did enjoy that
I have to agree with you on that part. It was comic booky.
in a good way, though.
How? Yeah, oh, in a great way.
Yeah,
And then here's a good thing about it. I don't read comic books. You know this,
yeah,
and anything that I see from my point of view was like, wow, that's amazing. That's awesome. From your point of view, it's like your favorite comic book is actually coming to life. The way it's meant, scripted in there, it's coming on the big screen. So it was a really treat for you as that aspect. It's a treat for me because it's like, wow, this is amazing. You know, um, I I think I know what part you're talking about, but there's
well, the,
several
the
parts of the movie.
climax was the
Yeah,
main one where I sat back and I actually realized that moment.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. I mean, it was such. I had such joy seeing everything happening unfold before me. It was like I had like anxiety. I
Yeah.
had emotion of like rushing emotions. Like, oh my god, this is cool. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Because
I mean, if you, I mean, honestly, I have to say this: if you think Civil War was cool, where all your favorite comic book heroes come to one spot, this takes a cake.
yeah. Oh yeah, hands down. Real quick before we get into spoilers, I want to talk about just the audience in the theaters. I don't know about your audience that you were with, but the people I were with, it was probably the loudest an audience has been, and no one cared because everyone was like that. You know, when certain things happen, people were like, "Yeah, whoa,"
Mm,
you know, or people, you know, when the certain part, another part happened, they're like, "What? Oh my god, what?" You know, and it's like everybody, you know, it's like there was a part where they show a character and then everyone starts cheering and it's like an hour into the movie, you know, and like
yeah,
the funny parts, which were amazing, the funny parts didn't kill the movie. They weren't forced in there. It felt like natural, and they were
right.
hilarious.
It
They
was.
were hilarious, and everyone laughed. Like it was so loud, because everyone just legit laughed. You
They
know,
relaxed. They were all
and
relaxed. They're all at home.
everyone was there and having fun, having a good time. No one was like, "Oh, these guys won't shut up," because everyone was doing it. You know,
Right,
everyone was like, just like, "Whoa, yeah," you know, or clapping, or
right.
like I heard sobbing. You know, like at one point I heard like the sniffling. You know, like, you know, I got, you know, teary eyed a few times during the movie because it's like it hits you right in the emotions. You know,
Yeah, it does. It does.
so
I mean, I had the same experience in my
yeah,
theater.
okay, good,
Not much, but it wasn't as loud. Certain character we'll talk about um came out and like there was a huge like
yeah,
yeah, then it just died
yeah,
out. Toward the end there was some more clapping for certain characters where the signatures are coming out.
yeah. Yeah.
Especially for one character. Um yeah, other than that, the majority of the theater stood. And when we were in Naperville,
Oh,
Palms, and the guy was collecting the checks and stuff, he was like, "Hey, yeah, there's nothing at the end. There's nothing at the end.
oh yeah.
Oh yeah, there's nothing at the end."
No one
Just and I,
listened to him.
no, no, no. We all stood there. We
Yeah,
all stood there.
because you're just expecting something. You know, you're just expecting something.
Yeah, because it always every movie
Yeah,
you will see the Avengers and blah blah blah. You will see
yeah,
this character and blah blah blah.
yeah. Like they will, you know, Thor will return in, you know, Avengers, whatever. You know, yeah. Like there wasn't any of that, which was kind of sad, but it was also like a good sad where like it's over. You know,
Hmm.
like this Infinity Saga is over. This awesome 20 plus film story, you know,
It
has its end, you know, and it was like, and if any, because no Marvel movie truly have had an ending, you know, it always left like a big open. Like this one left a few openings, but just little ones. It didn't like carry on. It didn't set up a new bad guy. It didn't set up anything like crazy that's gonna happen in the future. That's like out of the ordinary. That would be too crazy. Um, but it had little setups, you know, little things, because you know Disney Plus is gonna have a bunch of TV shows, you know. So like they're doing Hawkeye and Katie Bishop. They're doing Loki is having his own TV show. Scarlet Witch is having her own TV show. Falcon and Winter Soldier are getting their own TV show. You know, all on Disney Plus. You know, which
Wow.
yeah, I'm getting that. You know, plus like also on Disney Plus, every single animated cartoon is gonna be on there. Plus the 30 plus years of Simpsons are gonna be on Disney Plus. Which the Simpsons had, if you haven't seen it, they did a quick like 2 minute and a half little thing of them saying like, "Oh, we're happy to be part of Disney," kind of thing, and it was awesome. It was pretty funny. You know, it was
That's
like
awesome.
it was spot on for Simpsons. But yeah, I mean, just the Marvel stuff alone is gonna be worth getting Disney Plus at the end of the year. Um,
Uh,
It's only $6.99. I think $6.99 a month, which is insane. I'll probably buy the
Mm-hmm.
year, so they can't like 3 months down the line raise the price on you. Like I already bought the year,
Right.
but
Well, I mean, you keep talking like that about them. I'm sure they're going to give you the first year free.
oh please,
As
man,
for
this I
as
wish.
for me, I was bashing them a little bit ago over there, and next you know, my whole internet goes out. So
They listen.
they listed.
No, Disney Plus is gonna be pretty awesome, especially since you have your daughter. I mean, to have every single Disney movie at the tip of your fingers. Here's Little Mermaid. Here's Pocahontas. Here's Cinderella.
Yeah.
Here's this. Here's this. Here's this. I mean, she could be like, like just glued to the TV for a week, and you don't even need a babysitter.
Yeah,
You know?
I don't know about that, but
Just get a
okay.
bunch of Lunchables and throw on Disney Plus.
Lunchables, let her wander around and put her little potty training thing over here right next to the TV.
Yeah,
You know,
that's it.
forget the
Man.
diaper, just go poop in there.
Yep. Give her a little bucket.
Yeah, man. For you fans out there, watch Endgame. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be very exciting. It's 3 hours long. So snack up. If your movie theater does not serve any food, maybe you want to snack on something before, sneak something in there and eat something while you're watching. But other than that, guys, it's sit back, relax. You're gonna have fun. You're gonna have bring some tissue.
Yeah.
It is gonna be an emotional roller coaster, and it's gonna from all variables, from very good, very happy, very funny to very sad. So it's gonna everything in between.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
There was even a part I was like angry. I was like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. It was like, it was like,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was legit. Like you're not, overstating when you say it's an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
It really, really is.
It is.
So with that, you want to go into our second
Yes.
half of the podcast?
Yes.
Spoilers.
Yes. This is a bunch of spoilers, guys.
yeah,
so
so-
anybody has not seen it,
Spoiler.
just exit now. We'll see you later. Watch us soon. But
Yeah,
after
cut it. Stop now. I don't know. Maybe I'll cut him into 2 parts. I don't know. I know you said. I don't know. We'll see.
No,
Let's keep it one long part.
Listen or watch at your own risk from here on out.
At this point. Yeah. Go watch the movie and then come back and finish this podcast.
Put it on pod.
Yeah,
on
put it
pause
on pause.
on your iPad or iPod, whatever. Whatever it is.
So, you want to say the first? You want to say your first big thing that you loved about it, or what was your like one of your favorite things? Because I know mine.
One of my favorite things
Yeah.
towards the ending. Well, I mean, the most comedic thing.
Well, just anything. Like, what was just like the thing that you loved the most?
What I love the most is the towards the ending where everybody was coming out those holes.
That was epic.
That
Dude, that was so good.
I'm like, they're all coming out. I'm like, wait, I thought they were gone. And then it dawned on me. I'm like, wait a minute, they brought 5 years front, so they're all back. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Okay, and then Spider-Man actually reveals that he's like, oh yeah, the wizard guy did the sparkles, and I'm like, okay, so I was right. The funniest part, oh no, and how they came back to life.
Yeah,
How
Hulk snapped them back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Hulk snapped everyone back. Because then, as soon as that happened, Hawkeye's wife was calling. So
Yes.
Oh, that was a neat little thing. Like they told you. See, but that's what I'm saying. Like something like that. That Captain Marvel did that I found it, like the thing I found annoying is like 90s. Remember. Where this one, it was like they snapped and Ant-Man just saw birds. Hawkeye got a call from his wife. And something's little like that where you're like, oh, he gets his wife back. But then you kind of forget, you're like, oh wait, everyone's back, because they don't tell you right away. They just little things like that, Where it just like he didn't snap and then everyone poofed in the room. I was like, that would have been stupid. That would have something that would have
all,
been something Captain Marvel would have done in her movie.
all in one 10 by 10 room.
Yeah.
Half the world population in a 10 by 10 room.
Yeah.
You think the detained fucking area where the Mexicans are at are bad? Imagine that shit. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah. So
yeah, I understand when all that came out, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? And even one of the not favorite parts, one of the favorite lines when Doctor Strange like, is that everybody? And Wong looked at him and was like, did you want more?
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot.
There was just everybody. It was the Asgardians you saw at the end, one of the holes, like the ships, and it was just everything was that part was awesome because it happened at such a perfect time in the movie where it was just like Captain America against an army, Thanos and his army. And he stood up because he never backs down. He always gets up, all that, Captain America stuff. And he's standing there, and the picture that they did was like just a cliff, that Captain was on, and then just the army on the right side of the screen. And then, you start hearing Sam. And then that was another callback. He was on your left. So if you never watched Civil
America.
War, Winter Soldier,
right.
Winter Soldier.
Yeah, it was Winter Soldier.
Yeah, Winter Soldier, where Cap, keeps running on your left. It was like, so that's like a running joke with them that I thought was pretty awesome. My favorite part of the movie, hands down, favorite part was I've been calling him the big Thor Lebowski.
Yes,
dude,
that is so funny.
How? Because like it's so, because like you take probably the most attractive, hottest person in all of the movie, male or female, and you make them fat and hairy with dirty hair, and it was awesome. And it is like I was wondering, I was like, did you just tell them like be Big Lebowski? Like that's who you are. It was like, because it was so spot on.
Dude, when he was walking down the tunnel when they were going to the thing, I turned to Jess. I'm like, he looks like the dude.
Yeah.
And then next, like 2 seconds later, there's Tony Stark right behind him. Look out, Lebowski or something like that.
I was like, oh, it was so funny. And I was like, I love that they brought back Meek and Korg.
Yes,
they're playing Fortnite, that was hilarious. I was like, oh man, like it was because Avengers, I don't know if you know, today started Fortnite has a new Avengers Endgame game mode on Fortnite, which I want to play. I don't usually play Fortnite, but I'll play that. Yeah, I saw the trailers for it because they had Thanos in
when Infinity War came out.
Yeah, they had the Thanos. You could be Thanos. Now they have like the Endgame version of it, whatever. But yeah, so they're playing Fortnite. It was, oh man, and then the whole movie, I'm thinking like he's gonna Thunderbolt and like six pack. It was like, no, he stayed fat the whole movie, and that was awesome. Dude, he was like thick Thor. It was dude, that was like that was hilarious. And it's like, not only that, it's like you take the most attractive person, but also like there's so many memes and so many things about like about Thor. Like I don't know if you like zaddy Thor, like, oh, my zaddy Thor. It was like, oh, and you take him and you make him fat, and it was like,
I love
amazing. It was amazing.
I love how Renee Runuso, I think her name is, tells him, have a salad, eat a salad.
Oh, his mom.
Yeah, eat a salad. Yeah. It's all right.
He's like, oh, you salad, son. I was like,
so what happened to Loki?
Oh, so before we get into it, the whole way they're gonna fix everything was time travel. They figured out time travel, and obviously Tony Stark figured out time travel. And they all the remaining members of Avengers split up on all the teams, right? And Thor, Hulk, and Captain and Ant-Man all went to New York to get a few of the stones because they knew 3 of them were in the city all at the same time. So right after, which was awesome. I love that was another thing I love. It was like you watched the Battle of New York, but from a different perspective.
Yes.
That was amazing. I was like, it was
The,
so
the
cool.
the Grand Master was fighting them off.
Yeah, she was fighting Hulk, which was amazing. Like I would have never thought those two characters ever to be like together, you know. But it was also
Hmm.
like at the end of the first Avengers, like where they're all standing over Loki, but you saw it
Yeah.
from a different angle, from behind, in the corner, look, and then you saw what happened after they did their pose. It was
Right.
awesome. That was awesome.
After is
So like I was like, that's so cool where like they did that and America's ass. That another callback. It was like it was so good.
what was the callback for on that one?
That was more, I believe, a comic book callback, if I'm not mistaken. That was
Oh,
like because they
okay.
did stuff. Same thing with when they're in the elevator and he's asking for the scepter. And
Yeah.
that was that scene was a callback to Civil War when he was surrounded by all the guys,
And
and
he
he
was
gets
gonna fight
and he
them.
was gonna fight him.
Right.
So that scene, but when he says and he like leans over and he knew everyone in that room was Hydra, so he was like leaned over and said "Hail Hydra." I was like that gave me chills. I was like
Uh-huh.
because it was also that was in the comic book, where like Captain America in the comic book, you're like, oh my god, he's a secret Hydra agent,
Hmm.
so like that was
Yeah.
a cool callback to the comics. I thought that part was amazing. I was like him being deceiving like that, very non Captain America y, but he
Hmm.
he was smart enough to realize where he was and who he
Oh
was
yeah.
with.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because he fought those guys before
yeah,
in the elevator,
yeah.
and that was kind of
Well, yeah, he found out all
rough.
Civil War. He found out like all these people were assholes. And then
Yeah,
Captain America fighting Captain America, which was awesome. Which was
that
also
was
another
fun.
callback. If in the Dark World, Thor Dark World, um, there's a deleted scene where Thor goes to get Loki, and every time they cross a beam, Loki turns into a different character. So
Yeah, I
he turns
remember.
into
It
Captain
was
America.
that wasn't deleted. That was in there.
Was it? I thought it was a deleted scene.
No, that was in there.
Well, that's
He turned into an Asgardian guard.
yeah,
And then he turned into
Captain
Captain
America.
America, and then he also turned into somebody else.
I think
I can't
Jane.
remember.
Was it Jane?
Yeah, no, he swapped them.
Yeah.
He made Thor into the female Asgardian while
Oh
he
yeah,
was Thor or something like that.
yeah. He changed. He only went to the chick girl. Yeah,
Hmm.
but that was a callback because where Captain America was like, oh, I found Loki, and he thought Captain America was Loki. So that was like another callback. And
Yeah.
this whole movie was just full of callbacks to comic books and mostly movies.
Hmm.
So
The part where Hope responds to Captain with
yeah,
Cap,
yeah,
that went to Ant-Man and Wasp.
yeah. Wow. Well, but going back to what happened with Loki. So the whole time travel thing, they're there and they're trying to get the Tesseract.
Right.
Loki's in handcuffs. He goes they taking him downstairs into the lobby, and they wind up getting the Tesseract for a second, and then they lose it, and it like pops out of the suitcase. And meanwhile, Loki's got the little mouth guard that he had at the end of the movie, so he couldn't talk.
Right.
But he goes down, he picks it up, and he zaps away. So I was like, wait a minute. I didn't even think about it until after the movie when me and Eric were talking. She's like, wait, so is Loki alive? I was like, wait, is Loki alive now? Because I was like, because then their solution was just to go farther back in the past.
Right.
And then one of their things was like, we have to bring back everything where it came from and
Right.
when it came from. So if they took the set 1970s Tesseract and
Does it mean 19? I mean, the
in
20
2012 I think it was 20,
ac-
yeah,
actually happened?
like in the fight in New York, that going to change now because now is Loki like saved, like because he wouldn't be You know, like that's what I'm talking about. Like all this, like
It
other
wouldn't.
things.
Yeah, it wouldn't happen.
Because their big thing was like, oh, we can't change the past. We can't change the past. It's not like Back to the Future, and they listed all these time travel movies, which was awesome. You know, and it's like it's not like those movies. You can't change the past.
So
But I'm
you
like,
mean?
but then they changed the past.
Right, because even Captain America came back older.
Yeah,
So
yeah. There's that part. He changed the past. And then
did,
also like the main thing was like which was awesome at the beginning of the movie, they go and they freaking slice Thanos' head off. they waste no time. They're like, yeah, we killed Thanos. Boom, dead. You know.
mhm,
But at the end of the movie, that Thanos is the Thanos before he gets all the stones.
right.
So he skips like through time to the end and dies. So I'm like, so now there's no Thanos to collect the stones in the first place. So I was like, what? That's why I'm like, you know,
So in other words, Thanos dies twice. One
in the current timeline,
right in
and
2019.
then the past that comes to the future, they kill him.
Okay, so that being said, if I'm not mistaken, if everything works out right, everything that happened in the lobby in New York, everything happened in New York with the invasion with Loki and all those guys, will not happen due to the fact that they got rid of Thanos and they put everything back in time. So since now there's no Thanos, everything's gonna work out fine. Those gems will not work.
Yeah, there's no Battle of New York.
There's no nothing.
Loki doesn't die.
Loki
Idris
doesn't
Elba
die.
doesn't die.
Right.
But then also Gamora wouldn't die because he wouldn't throw her off the cliff.
Correct.
But
However,
she's still dead.
right, because so is Black Widow because they sacrificed themselves. Well, she was tossed. Black Widow sacrificed herself for the Soul Stone.
Yeah.
So order to work. So those two are definitely gone.
Yeah.
Now the second Gamora turned to dust because when
Stark they didn't show that. They didn't show. They didn't show that.
I figure, considering that they came with Thanos, it's everything and everyone turned to dust. I figure Gamora turned to dust also.
Because at the end, you see
he was searching for her.
He was searching for her. I don't think she's dead because she wasn't a bad guy. You know, so like same thing. Because then in theory, Nebula would be dusted too because she's part of the Thanos crew. Originally. So it's like, there's like little things like that I was like, would she? Wouldn't she? I mean, I don't know. I mean, because ultimately Gamora turned and she always didn't like Thanos.
Mm-hmm.
But and then another thing me and my friend were talking about was, so if Captain America has to go back in time and put everything back to when they first took it, right?
Mm-hmm.
One would I don't know, would he run into himself or anyone else as they were stealing the stone, or would it be like she just gave Hulk the stone and now now Captain America comes back and is like, oh, here it is again, like, thank you. It would have been like a second later.
Will the super soldier exist?
Well, yeah, because I mean that was in the 40s.
Okay, so
but it's just like everything would have happened like as soon as they take it a second later, they'll just put it back, like in theory. But then also like Captain America have to give back the Soul Stone, right? Who was guarding the Soul Stone? The Red Skull. He would lose his goddamn mind. I was like, he's like, hey, you should be dead. Instead of you're guarding a Soul Stone. There's no way Captain America will allow that to happen. And then even then, what are you gonna tell? That the Guardian, the Red Skull Guardian, is like, oh, here's the stone that you're protecting. He's like, but how did you get it if it's still there? That whole thing, And then can you ask for a refund? You're like, hey, here's the stone back. Can I get the Natasha's soul back? Like, can we just
here's a refund?
A soul for a soul?
Right. I think he probably just went to the cliff and tossed it, or gave it to Red Skull. I mean, remember, Red Skull couldn't handle that power. That's why he's stuck there for eternity.
Well, he said he couldn't get it. Yeah. So but I mean, there's no way Captain America is gonna give the Red Skull a freaking Infinity Stone. There's no way. That's what I was like. He's like, oh, here, it's like, how do you put that back? Because no one knows how you get it. Like you kill somebody and then you wake up in the lake.
Mm-hmm.
So
you wake up in the lake.
So there's like there's all little things like that. I get why they did that with Loki, because he is gonna have his own TV show on Disney Plus.
Right.
So now you just gave him an opportunity for that TV show.
So like, I can't see Falcon as Captain America.
In the comic book, he was.
I figured it was going to go to
Bucky, which he also becomes Captain America at one point. But they both become Cap.
So what happened with Captain America? How was he able to lift the hammer? Just all of a sudden, like he lifted the hammer, he knew exactly how to work it.
That was a callback to Age of Ultron
when he moved it,
when he nudged it. Yeah.
But all of a sudden, he was able to lift. What did he do different? Like he stood up to the bad guys?
Yeah, he was worthy. It was him versus an army,
And he was willing to die for it and do whatever he can.
Yeah. And I mean, in the comic book, there's a bunch of people that can pick up that damn thing. It's not just Thor. I mean, Hulk picks it up, Iron Man picks it up, Captain America picks it up. There's a guy named Beta Ray Bill who picks it up. Who becomes like a horse version of Thor. He was in. There's actually a statue of Beta Ray Bill in Thor Ragnarok.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's super fast, but it's there. It's there, which is awesome. So, which means Beta Ray Bill is in the MCU, which is awesome.
Well, I think he should be there if he's a character. I mean, now think about it too. Don't forget Vision. He picked it up.
Yeah, Vision picked it up in the movie. But I mean, in the comic book, there's a ton of people that pick it up. So it's not that special. No, it's
not anymore.
It's not. I mean, freaking Jane Foster becomes a female Thor. So she becomes the new Thor for a little while. And she was flying around with it and shit.
I could see a foreshadowing in the very beginning of that movie that what was Iron Man's daughter's name? That she could become Iron Man. Because remember, and he even says, "Oh, I got this in the garage or in a shack or a shed or whatever."
Yeah.
This is I like going there too.
Yeah, which is cool because Rescue, which is what Pepper Potts was wearing, the Rescue suit, but that was in the comic book. So it was like they really went ham with like the comic book stuff, which I thought was awesome.
They did a callback to Natasha when all the girls stood together.
The girl power one, that was pretty awesome. That was like every single one. They took the Infinity War thing and quadrupled it. In the awesomeness of that one.
But what exactly is Mantis gonna do? Everybody lined up. Shuri, the guard.
She has more power than Shuri.
Okay, what is she gonna? She needs to go with an arm's length and make people sad.
She can knock them out. She can go, sleep, or she can. I mean, her powers. If that's what she can make somebody like go attack. Go fight this person. I don't know. She has pretty cool powers.
So yeah, I know. I mean, but think about it, Karen. She's gonna have to like literally go up to somebody and do this, sleep, and you're sleeping, or attack, and you're attacking. So I really don't see. I think she's gonna be one of the last people behind the powerful ones.
Oh yeah, her and Shuri were gonna be in the back because Shuri had the two blasters, but I was like, after you have the two blasters, that's it. Like you're SOL.
You're right.
At least Mantis, if they get in her face, she can be like, go be my minion.
Yes, that was pretty cool.
So one thing I wanted, what I was saying, where like they show Ant-Man walking through San Francisco, like all like what happened,
Mm-hmm.
They should have took that time and explained Hulk. They didn't. They didn't explain. I think they did. They did it so fast. They're just like why was Hulk not wanting to come out in the last movie? Why was he so afraid? Why did he keep saying no? They didn't answer any of those questions. There it was just Bruce Banner was like, "Oh, instead of me being afraid of him, I just basically killed Hulk and took his body." You know, and
Mm.
that's basically like what happened. I'm like, "What?" It was like I was like,
He
"It's
became
awesome."
Beast.
Yeah,
He
it was
became
awesome.
Beast.
But it was at
Yeah.
the same time it was like Hulk is still a person. You know, Hulk has its own mind, you know. So it was like you just killed Hulk and your body and became like, you know, it was like they should have explained that a little bit more. That's one thing I kind of wish.
I think so. Now, what happened to um Casey's parents, mom and stepdad?
Ooh. Ant-Man's daughter.
Yeah,
Yeah, they didn't tell you. I'm assuming they got snapped.
but wouldn't they have come back because they didn't show up at the funeral?
No, I don't see them. Why? I mean, she didn't show. She wasn't at the funeral, Cassie, either. It was just
Mm.
wasn't it just Ant-Man, Hank, and
Hank,
her?
Hope, Ant Man,
It was just the three of them,
and
wasn't it? Oh, and then Michelle
no,
Pfeiffer.
yeah,
Yeah,
there
so
was
it was the
four.
four of them.
And I like that where when they're showing that they show Potts happy, the Potts with the daughter, then
Yeah,
happy, and then the original cast of Avengers, and then they showed
they go to like each movie,
each movie
franchise.
the little
The group.
grouping,
Yeah.
yes, and
Although,
then in the very top you see Captain Marvel all by herself,
yeah,
and then there was Nick Fury
yeah,
overlooking everybody.
yeah. One thing I was like, Captain Marvel was barely in this movie. Holy crap! How they did not use her.
No, they didn't.
Um, in the beginning, she did two things. She saved Tony Stark, and she destroyed the ship. I mean, besides that, she didn't do anything in the battle. I mean, she got her ass whooped by Thanos. You know, he like zapped her in the face, and that was it. You never seen her again. You didn't see her again until the funeral. I was like, oh damn, he really zapped you, huh?
But you know what? It was a great smart move from Thanos
Yeah,
because he's like, I have all the phone. Let me just take the power one, punch you in the face, and put it back. I'm like, that's smart thinking. Not only that, Thanos could hold his own without the glove,
Yeah,
without the stones.
yeah,
That dude is like, he can kick ass.
yeah. But that's why Erica was telling me, he's like, oh, why is he so OP'd? I'm like, he's older than all of them combined, including Thor. I mean, he's a Titan. I mean,
Mhm.
if like hopefully they talk about a little bit in the internal movies that is coming out, eventually. That's gonna be in the next phase. Um, he's basically a descendant of the Eternals. I think he's like a grandchild, if I'm not mistaken, or I think he's a grandchild or a child of one of the Eternals. So it was like, yeah, the guy is basically almost a god, without the glove.
Without it, right?
Yeah.
And he held his own. I like where Rhodey is like, hey, why don't we go back to
Yeah,
baby Thanos?
the Hitler complex or the Hitler question.
Wrap a wire or cord and strangle him. That's dark.
Yeah, I think even Hulk was like, first of all, that's messed up. It was like, yeah, that was awesome. Was it somebody said Stanley cameo was weird in Endgame? I don't think so. I think that was like one of the perfect ones because he was basically Stan Lee. Like they just made him look how he looked in the 70s. Long hair. You
I
know,
for I forgot what was he at?
he was in when they went back to the 70s.
Okay.
He like drove by. He's like, "Oh, make peace, not war," or whatever he said.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it was like one thing was like definitely a little. That was pretty cool. I like that because I was like that was Stan Lee basically. It was just like very hippie with the long hair kind of Stan Lee.
I'm a little disappointed they didn't keep the regular Marvel with Stanley. from Captain Marvel. You know what I'm talking about? The
Uh-huh.
intro,
Yeah,
because the intro on
the
that one
the
was,
title scene or the
mm,
title card in the beginning. I know that
yeah,
was the first time. Like, oh, they didn't do it. They didn't keep it.
yeah, I know.
I
I
guess
was
they.
kind of,
I was hoping at least this one. I was like, come on, it's the end of it all. Put Stan Lee that one last one in there. I mean, you already
yeah,
have it. Just put it in.
yeah, just
Um,
replay it.
As put somebody said Ruffalo's face on the Hulk was weird. Yeah, I know we talked about it in the pre-show a little bit where that was another thing that was I think all of the CGI wasn't as good as it was in Infinity War. I don't know, maybe because they had a lot more CGI in this one, but it wasn't as good. Ruffalo's face on it, it was pretty good considering you're putting somebody's face on the Hulk, and it's like super CGI.
It was
It didn't take me out of the movie. It wasn't like I'm like, oh, this is so weird looking that it was
right.
like, ugh. Like in Infinity War, where Bruce Banner is inside the Hulkbuster without the helmet at the end. That
Hmm.
looked weird. That looked really weird. I don't know if you remember that. That was everyone was talking about that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, let's see. It's funny how Captain Marvel didn't do shit in the film. Um,
Yeah, we just talked about that.
yeah, she came out only in most important parts. That gun, the fire
That was
in the
pretty cool.
sky thing.
Yeah,
Did they automatically started aiming at her because they thought that she was a bigger
she was the
threat?
biggest threat at the time. I thought they were gonna shoehorn in like Adam. Oh, what's his name? Not Black Adam.
Yes, I know. From
War
Galaxy,
Yeah,
Adam
from
Warlock.
Adam Warlock. I thought they were. I'm like, oh, don't put that. And because I completely forgot about Captain Marvel because she didn't do it. Like I said, all she did was save Tony Stark, blow up the ship, and get zapped in the face by Thanos. That's all she did in the entire movie. I mean, she
Yeah,
didn't do. She wasn't in there at all, at all, at all, at all. So I was kind of like, eh. You set her up to be this like she was gonna be the Thanos destroyer, and she didn't do jack besides destroy his ship. So I was a little disappointed in her utilization and all, but I get why they did it. They wanted to make sure the big three were the big guys,
right.
because it
I
was their
thought the
story. It was Iron Man and Captain America's story. That was their story for sure, for sure.
yeah. I really don't. Hmm, I really don't see. I really thought Thor was gonna die. So
I
I mean, that one part where he was going to his chest, it was going in
oh
until Captain America got the hammer. But prior to that, I really thought, I'm like, okay, this is how he's gonna end.
yeah.
All fat and slobbery.
Yeah, like you should have kept up with it. Actually, when I saw the hammer fling by, my first thought was Rocket. I don't know
Mm,
why. That would have been hilarious, and it would have been awesome. That like Rocket would have thrown the hammer. But I think that was getting a little too cheesy and corny and funny. Where Cap was like obviously the better pick. But I don't know why my head went directly. I'm like, oh my god, did Rocket pick it up and throw it? Because that would have because they were like BFFs. It was like he
yeah.
saved his best friend. But Captain America having it was obviously the good choice. Um,
Yes. Yes. I
yeah,
mean, when I see the hammer getting lifted, I kind of knew it was Captain. You know. I mean, the only other person was Vision that I know of, but he was nowhere to be found.
yeah, he was gone. Well, somebody said when he was putting the Stormbreaker in his chest, he goes, "You should like after it happened." He said, "You should have gone for the head." I was expecting that too. I was expecting like a punch, and it's like, "Oh, you should have gone for the head." Like him telling Thanos that. I was waiting for that, and
Right.
that didn't happen. I was
That
kind
would
of
have
like
been
that would
that
have
would
been
have been
fun
actually,
because that would
yeah,
have
they
been a
would have.
callback too. I don't think Loki is permadead. We talked about that early.
Hmm.
Because of the whole time travel thing, he got the Tesseract and zapped away during the Battle of New York. That was my big, but you know what though? It was also one of my big things that I thought of was all the time travel issues that happened from the old Thanos skipping to the end. So the old Thanos didn't do all the stuff he was supposed to do and went right to the end to fight. I think the next phase is gonna be all the fallout from it. like all the things that has changed in the in this timeline
Hmm.
because of that. Because that was like their logic was like, oh, we can't change the past because it'll just destroy the future. Well, now you change the past, so now how is that going to affect the future? I'm sure Doctor Strange is gonna get involved with it because he's obviously the guy with the time stone. So and the timeline's all jacked up, so I'm pretty sure he's gonna hit it up on another one. So there's another
Where
film copy because Russo brothers made alternative copies. That would be cool, where Clint dies and Bucky gets a shield. That would have been
see,
cool.
that's another one. I knew Clint was going to die. I just knew because
I thought he was. Well, he didn't.
he's a family man, and this is an opportunity for them to bring it back. He's going to sacrifice himself to bring back his family.
Yeah.
That's not going to be morbid. That's going to pretty be morbid due to the fact that Natasha has zero family.
Yeah.
Her only family is the Avengers.
Yeah.
Now, when they fought,
Which was an awesome scene. I
was.
love that scene because it was like they're fighting each other to die. It was like it has such a big meaning to it. It was so good.
So I mean, now we have two Romans in the film. I mean, MCU. Who's the first one? I don't. But either way, I don't think it's gonna be any. I think it would have been bad. I think it would have been bad if Clint would have died.
Yeah, because
You know,
he needed because he had a family, and the movie starts with him losing his family. And as soon as he was shooting the arrow, I turned to Erica. I'm like, they're gonna do it. They're gonna fucking show us this. Sorry for my language. I was like, they're gonna show us. Like, and then they did. I was like, oh, why? Like, because you already knew, like they were all gone, but now you saw it, and I was like, oh, you suck, Russo brothers. Like,
yeah,
I didn't want to see that.
didn't I call it?
Yeah.
Remember, it wasn't. I think it was obvious, pretty much.
Yeah.
But now when he ended up in Tokyo and he was killing the bad guys because they should have been dead, not his family.
Yeah. Which I like that. I because I'm like, why is he doing it? And then when the guy asks, it's like, oh, all these bad gangster guys get to live, but his family get to die. That's why he kind of goes on this like killing spree.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I love Ronan.
Yeah, he was.
Okay.
Ronan was more of a badass.
Yes.
I didn't like his stupid haircut. That's so stupid.
Stupid hair. It was a buzz cut.
The mohawk thing going.
Yeah. I guess.
Yeah. But I think going forward, all the next for phase 4 is going to be them living with all these issues of the timeline being messed up now. That's why, because I can see what they could do with Gamora. It's like, because now there's this new Gamora from the past, but now since Thanos didn't do what he was supposed to do, then all of the memories of the other Gamora go into this Gamora. So now she has like two memories. Now she's like battling with herself in her head. Like between who she is and who the other one was. As they're finding her, and like they could do that like whole thing. They could do like a Guardians 3 / Thor 4, which will be epic because like the whole like who's the captain of the ship type of thing. It was like, well, whose movie is it? Is it Guardians or is it Thor? Like I could see James Gunn doing something awesome with that.
Yeah, that's what he said. It's as Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah. I could see them doing like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and then like there's like a Thunderbolt, and it's like Thor 4 over it. And then they like the titles fight over each other. I can see James Gunn doing something awesome with it. Like just add now they're just giving James Gunn Thor, like, here, now you get to mess with Fat Thor, with it. It was like how smart Kevin Feige is, where he was like, he saw how awesome Thor and the Guardians were just for a few minutes of interaction, and how much everyone loved those few minutes of interaction. They're like,
right.
Yeah, let's make a whole movie out of it now. It was like Kevin Feige is a freaking genius, man, when it comes to like planning stuff like this.
That's nuts, man.
Oh, they went different areas to get the stones. They did the Stan cameo film where, yeah, um, yeah, I don't know, like, yeah, it's gonna cause so many
It,
ripples or branches
it
or whatever they were calling it.
it's gonna cause a lot of it, and there's gonna be a point in time where, okay, guys, enough's enough. We should have ended on top. It's like an NFL player. You win the Super Bowl, but they want to stick it around for another year or two, and they're never the same. You know what I'm saying? I think if they're going to continue it, there's going to be a lot of things. One, characters. Characters got to be good. The actors need to play that character.
Yeah.
Two is the director. You can't have a crappy ass director. We've seen that happen with not the Incredible Hulk, but the Hulk.
Oh yeah.
And we've seen that with Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I don't know who was the director on that one.
James Gunn. Dude, everyone hates that. James Gunn does not make a bad movie. Guardians of the Galaxy 2 was better than Captain Marvel for sure. Because Captain Marvel was hot trash to me.
Mm-hmm.
To me, Guardians is definitely in the top 10.
Right.
Guardians 2. But yeah, James Gunn did 1 and 2, and he's back to do 3 again.
Of Guardians?
Yeah. They fired him and then they rehired him.
Right. Is Howard the Duck coming out? Because remember, if I'm
on
mistaken,
Disney Plus, I heard on Disney Plus he might. I think they were saying he's gonna have a thing on.
So if Howard the Duck is gonna be the leader of the Guardians, it's gonna be like the Nick Fury, isn't it?
Who?
Howard the Duck.
No, I think it's his like it's just a comedy. It's probably gonna be his own little thing. I don't think it's gonna be directly in the MCU. But I heard it's going to be, I think, a cartoon.
Well, I know they made a movie back in the 80s.
Yeah, but that was his own thing. That wasn't. I don't think Marvel bought Howard the Duck back then yet.
No.
Was that Ang Lee? Ang Lee did that Hulk movie. And then he did the one with Will Smith where he was like a superhero. Was it Hancock? Ugh, that was pretty trashy too. But yeah, I heard this is Stan's final cameo.
Yeah, he wasn't around to make the other ones.
Yeah. So
Dark Phoenix or Far From Home.
Yeah, well, Dark Phoenix. He's not gonna be in Dark Phoenix. He was in. I don't think he was in any of the X-Men.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, Dark Phoenix is gonna be garbage. Oh, it's gonna be so trashy. But
you think so?
Yeah. But I mean, they already have the plan. Like, there's already a Guardians 3 is gonna come out. Iron Man or not Iron Man. Black Panther 2 is already coming out. Doctor Strange 2 is already coming out. So they already got movies lined up, So I think some of them have to do it. Well, now you need to have a new rich techie person, which I believe is going to be Black Panther. He's going to take over for Iron Man.
Iron Man duties.
Yeah, as the money and as the technology. It's coming from. It's going to be Black Panther is going to be.
Well, don't forget. Yeah, don't forget. I mean, there's going to be. He mentioned that he's going to open Wakanda to the world.
Yeah. So yeah. So we'll talk. Well, that'll be our last bit before we log off. Was the final ending, the big sacrifice. You said you thought it was Thor or Captain America. I thought it was going to be Captain America, and it wound up being Iron Man.
Iron Man.
Tony Stark was the savior of it all, the martyr. I don't know. He was the sacrifice, and the way he sacrificed it was like perfect because it was like a callback to Iron Man 1, which is the one that started it all.
When he said, "I am Iron Man."
Yeah. And then he did it like very like after I was thinking about it, very William Shatner. Like he hammed it up, but it was perfect. He goes, and I am Iron Man. I was like, oh, it was like the hamming it. It was like for the extra couple seconds of like, because everyone knows he's gonna say it. He's gonna say it.
Yep.
Yeah.
At the end credits, there was some small clapping when his autograph came out.
Oh yeah.
At the end, because we all knew,
Yeah. I didn't think they were gonna kill him, but
Jess was crying. Oh my god, that's her man. That's her favorite character.
Was Iron Man?
Yes,
Yeah.
like yeah, like to this day we argue where you know it was because Captain America, they broke up in Civil War. I'm like, no, it wasn't. It was Iron Man. He
No,
was
it
the
was
first one to
Iron Man.
sign.
But not only that, it's like at the end he just got so like blind rage. He's like, "You killed my parents." I was like, "Yeah, but it wasn't him. It was him being brainwashed." You know,
Right.
it was like, "Yeah, but he did it." It was like, "But he couldn't control himself." You know, it was like, "Stop being stupid."
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
but I get like he was just all caught up. But yeah, so Iron
he
Man, Tony Stark
was.
died.
He's dead.
Oh man,
It was
that
it was
was
nice. It was nice though. The Pepper Potts told him it's okay.
you can
You can
rest now.
relax. Yeah, you can rest now.
I like how it was the flip of Infinity War with Spider-Man, and he's like, "Oh, we did it, Mr. Stark," and he was the one crying, you know,
Yeah.
and because now the other, you know, and now it's flipped. The Iron Man had died, so it was like that was pretty like sad. I was like, "Oh," but
So
it
so what
it
happened to the stones?
they just all got returned back.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, with the hammer too, because obviously he couldn't keep the hammer, you know, so he had to go give Thor back his hammer in Asgard, you know, which would have been cool. I mean, they could make a whole movie out of that, you know, if they want to do another Captain America, just Captain America dropping off all the stones, seeing Red Skull, going to Thor, and was like, "Here's your hammer," you know,
Hmm.
So I don't think they will, but yeah, that was awesome. You know, Iron Man dying, Captain America giving away the shield, but then he had the ring on his finger. That kind of
Yes.
hit her like, oh, he lived his happy life, you know, the one that he deserved, you
Yeah.
know. And then it cuts. The very end was he was dancing with Peggy, which is also a callback to, you know, the first Captain America when he
Right.
was dying. He's like, oh, you have that save me that dance. So and that it ended perfectly. It was
Yes.
just like he was dancing, he was happy. It was it was
All
so
yeah,
good.
it seemed like all the chapters of the stories,
Yeah,
multiple stories, were closed.
yeah, yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's why it was just a perfect ending. Everything ended. It had an ending. You know, it was, you know. But yeah, I don't know. Any last things you want to talk about? Say before we probably log it off for the night.
Rest in peace, Iron Man. I mean, it was fun. I
R.I.P.
mean, he started it and he ended it. He started out with a bang and he ended it with a snap of the fingers, saving the world.
Yeah,
Um, and it was awesome. It was a great movie. I do want to see it again.
for sure.
Um, uh, I don't know how many times I'm going to see it. Maybe 4 times, five, maybe minimum. And I've, we've been known to watch multiple movies. Queen, we watched 4 times in 4 weeks.
Oh, jeez.
Captain Marvel was 2 times in 1 week. So yeah, I wouldn't. I could easily see this movie 3 or 4 more times.
Yeah, like I know for sure at least one more time I'm gonna see it. You know,
Yeah,
and then after that, I mean, if I'm bored on a weekday by myself, I might just go to the theater and watch it.
yeah.
You know, but
But
yeah,
other than that, it was fun. It was a
yeah.
great ride, Marvel. Thank you. You kept us busy. You kept us
10 years.
10 years.
Entertained.
It's amazing. It's amazing, amazing. No, I don't think any movie out there has done anything like this before. Usually part twos of any movie suck, but this is this is nuts.
Yeah, no film studio is ever gonna do
Top
this.
this, yeah,
Nah, they don't have the time or the patience. They want money now, you know, and in order to get the big money at the end, you have to play the long game. They played it perfectly.
hmm
But yeah, Kevin Feige, I can't wait to see the next phase. See where that leads us. It's gonna be interesting. Eternals, all the sequels coming out. X-Men, Fantastic Four.
yeah.
It's gonna be the next 10 years is gonna be fun for sure. For sure, the next 10 years is gonna be interesting. But yeah, I think that is it
Yep.
for this episode for today. That was a lot.
A lot.
But yeah, we went a little longer than 30 minutes on that second the
I
second
mean,
half.
the movie was 3 hours. Are we gonna really cramp in 3 hours of movie talk in 30 minutes? I don't think we can.
Yeah. But I think it was an hour and a half. So
Yeah, it sounds like it.
I think the movie deserved that much. But
Yes.
hopefully, if you
Yes,
stuck
it does.
around an hour and a half and you saw the movie, we appreciate it. All the
Mhm.
people that stopped by and said hi during our live stream, appreciate it.
Thank
But
you
yeah,
very much.
that is it for episode 23. Thank you guys for all tuning in. And as always, you can always check us out on all social media platforms at Did We Just Become Best Friends Podcast or at DWJBBF Podcast. Hit that sub button with those bell notifications, those like buttons, follow buttons, and give us a call. 872-225-2404. And we'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.
See you later. Don't turn to dust.